Pam Bondi, our new attorney general, is wasting no time to make her mark, you guys. Just a week on the job, and she's already launched a massive lawsuit against the state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul, and Attorney General Letitia James for what she said was prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens. And not just them. New York Congresswoman and squad member Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez could be next, as Border Czar Tom Homan just suggested an investigation for her latest effort to oppose deportation of illegal immigrants. You see, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's office hosted a live webinar on her Facebook page outlining resistance tactics illegal immigrants could add to their arsenal if targeted by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement for removal from the country, meaning she's teaching these criminal illegal immigrants how to evade the law. Now, that's definitely got to be worth looking into, right? In other news, the U.S. government began firing thousands of people at multiple agencies. This is a part of President Trump and Elon Musk accelerating their purge of America's federal bureaucracy. The Department of Veteran Affairs said that it had let go of more than 1,000 employees who were in their probationary period, while the U.S. Forest Service was set to fire more than 3,000. So yeah, they're putting our whole government on notice, guys. I also noticed Nancy Pelosi is staying awfully quiet. I wonder why she's keeping her mouth shut. Maybe Nancy Pelosi's trying not to get investigated? I mean, as far as investigations go, she and her stock portfolio should probably be top of the list. Am I right, guys? By the way, appreciate y'all hitting the like button. Thanks so much for subscribing to the channel. So anyway, this Pam Bondi lawsuit against these New York officials is a pretty good start already. Now, like she said in the press conference, we're coming after you. Watch.
There's a new sheriff coming for the Empire State. Attorney General Pam Bondi suing New York State and its leaders over sanctuary policies getting in the way of immigration efforts.
This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you.
Here to react is co-host of The Five, Judge Janine Pirro. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
You look beautiful.
Well,
Love
so
all your jewelry.
You're so kind. Thank you.
You are so, you know the laws of New York especially.
Yeah.
What does this mean? Will this go anywhere?
Oh, yeah, it definitely will. Look, the President Trump has said there's a crisis of illegal immigration, and the American public is with him on it. Vast majority, 83% want wholesale change. So this lawsuit is being brought against the state of New York after they sued Illinois last week, and they said, look, your sanctuary policies are basically obstructing federal law. There is something called the Supremacy Clause, and that preempts any of your state laws. So what are we talking about? Specifically in 2019, New York passed a green light law, which basically said, you know what? Any illegal who wants a driver's license, we're going to give you a driver's license. The problem with that is that they are refusing to give any information from that license, whether it's an identification, whether it's an address, whether it's vehicle registration. And when you've got law enforcement, whether it's local, state, border patrol, anyone else, in terms of real time, and they're coming up against an individual and they cannot get information from DMV, that law has to be struck down. It puts all of law enforcement, border patrol, ICE, everyone in danger. So you've got all of this attempt to prevent the federal government from enforcing the law. And, you know, Pam Bondi is right. I mean, you can't just have a law and think you're on your own. There is a supremacy clause here. And Hochul says, look, we're going to stand by New Yorkers and we're not going to back down. They're illegal immigrants, Governor, and it's reflected not just in terms of law enforcement, but in terms of the money. There's the economy issue. There's the clawback of the FEMA, the federal funds. This is out of control, and Donald Trump is saying, no more.
Now, honestly, I am happiest about these charges against Letitia James. Now, we all know what Trump went through with this woman, right? That's why people are saying she has to go down. Now, as my uncle put it, she's a traitor to America within the American justice system, the worst of the worst. She's grimy. Now, this Pam Bondi lawsuit is set to prove it. Now, like I said, guys, our newly appointed attorney general came out of the gate running. Pam Bondi's barely been in office for a week, but she's already sent a clear and welcome message that the the Department of Justice is under new management. You know what I mean? Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. So let's get into this lawsuit just a little bit here, because see, it targets a number of New York laws that have inhibited immigration enforcement. There's the green light law, which grants driver's licenses to illegal immigrants and prohibits federal law enforcement, including immigration enforcement, from accessing the state driver's license information. New York even has a law that requires state officials to inform illegal immigrants if federal officials inquire about them, among other things. Well, Pam Bondi, she's taken them down. Like she said in the press conference, New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. This is a new DOJ. It stops today. In short, this is Pam Bondi making her mark and showing these sanctuary cities that there's a new sheriff in town. It's a pretty strong statement if you think about it. They're saying that the Justice Department has a zero tolerance policy for states that defy the rule of law and endanger the public by allowing criminal illegal immigrants to roam free. And yeah, the American people definitely agree. I mean, why else would 77 million voters overwhelmingly vote for President Trump and his anti-illegal immigrant agenda, right? But let me tell you guys, after 4 years of Merrick Garland's DOJ's aggressive targeting of law-abiding citizens, Pam Bondi, she's a breath of fresh air. I still remember the things that Garland did: suing Texas for protecting its citizens from illegal immigrants, prosecuting peaceful protesters who prayed outside the abortion clinics, or even sending the FBI to investigate parents who spoke out at school board meetings and Catholics who attend the Latin Mass. Instead of all that, Pam Bondi's first major legal action as Attorney General, it's an effort to force the state of New York to comply with existing federal immigration law. It was pretty symbolic how Pam Bondi herself personally removed the photographs of former President Joe Biden, former Vice President Kamala Harris, and former Attorney General Merrick Garland at the DOJ this week. Now, with that being said, she promised to wipe away the legacy of her predecessors on a number of fronts and to restore the independence of the DOJ, not like how the Biden administration used it. So really, they're bringing the department back to its roots. Pam Bondi has pledged to focus the department on its core mission of keeping Americans safe and vigorously prosecuting criminals, and that includes getting back to the basics: gangs, drugs, terrorist cartels, our borders, and our foreign adversaries. And already she's proven to be a woman of her word with this lawsuit against New York. So what do you guys think? Drop a quick yes in the comments down below. Hit the like button if I'm making sense to you guys. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. But let's continue on. Now pay attention, guys. Democrats, you have been put on notice. I mean, somebody's got to go to jail here, right? Because so far, no Democrat activist, judge, or corrupt official has gone to jail yet. But once that happens, the rest of them could fall in line, because right now these people are feeling pretty untouchable. I mean, just look at AOC, for example. The squad congresswoman is actually coaching illegal immigrants on how to avoid the law. That's why Border Czar Tom Homan is suggesting an investigation. So here's a clip. Watch.
Tom, you got AOC out there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, putting out a webinar, doing a webinar to help illegals avoid, I guess, apprehension, giving tips about how to continue to remain in the country and ultimately game the system.
And I sent an email today to the Deputy Attorney General. At what level is that impediment? Is that impediment? I'm not an attorney, I'm not a prosecutor. Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now, but I need the AOG to opine on that. But because there's impediment is impediment, in my opinion. I'm not a prosecutor, but we need some further guidance on that. But again, if we have to take every federal dollar out of the city, we'll do it. I mean, we're done. This is about public safety. This is about community safety. Knowingly releasing a public safety back in the public is just stupid. You're putting the public at great risk. You're putting our officers at great risk. You're even putting the illegal alien at great risk, because anything can happen on arrest on the street. So we just want to make common sense. In sanctuary cities, they want to step aside. Step aside. We're coming. We're going to do it for you. If you don't want to make your community safer, President Trump's going to.
So yeah, now Tom Homan is in contact with the Department of Justice. Yes, Pam Bondi's DOJ to determine whether Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez move instituted or constituted what they're calling an illegal impediment to the Trump administration's deportation effort. In short, Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove will investigate whether the New York lawmakers' efforts crossed the line here. Now, as Tom Homan put it, maybe AOC is going to be in a lot of trouble now. Now, of course, the Congresswoman couldn't help but to respond. You know how the guilty do. They tend to not be able to keep their mouth shut. She said, maybe Tom Homan can learn to read. The Constitution would be a good place to start. Now, I wouldn't know about that, but I definitely feel like aiding and abetting criminal illegal immigrants has got to be breaking some sort of law, right? But Tom Homan's ICE is not letting AOC interfere with their job. Nope. The agency has already carried out several operations in Ocasio-Cortez's city. They've arrested over 100 people, including a January 28th initiative that targeted 39 people for removal from the U.S. that had Anderson Zambrano Pacheco, a suspected ringleader of the Tren de Aragua Venezuelan gang and an alleged MS-13 gang member among the detainees. So yeah, I consider that as AOC getting put on notice. Now, speaking of notices, President Trump and Elon Musk, they're cracking down on federal bureaucracy as well as thousands of people getting fired at multiple government agencies. The Department of Veteran Affairs let go more than 1,000 employees who were in their probationary period, while the U.S. Forest Service was set to fire more than 3,000. Termination emails have been flying across the government. Now, from what I heard, it's mostly recently hired employees still on probation at agencies such as the Department of Education, the Small Business Administration, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the Government Services Administration, which manages federal buildings. Elon Musk aides also arrived for the first time at the IRS and U.S. embassies. They were told to prepare for staff cuts. Now, as President Trump explained, the federal government is too bloated and that too much money is lost to waste and fraud. I mean, it's true if you think about it. I mean, just look at our money. The federal government has some $36 trillion in debt and ran a $1.8 trillion deficit last year. And there's a bipartisan agreement on the need for government reform, meaning both sides actually agree that something has to be done here. And, well, Trump and Elon Musk, they're doing it. According to the government data, about 280,000 civilian government workers were hired less than 2 years ago, with most of them still on probation, which makes them easier to terminate. In a statement, the Department of Veteran Affairs said that the firings will save the department more than $98 million per year, and VA will redirect all of those resources back toward healthcare, benefits, and services for VA beneficiaries. Sounds good to me, right? Now, at the Office of Personnel Management, all probationary staff were fired in a group call and told to leave the agency's headquarters in Washington. And not just that, guys, since OPM is basically the human resources arm of the U.S. government, their officials also met with other government agencies and advised them to lay off their probationary employees, with some exceptions. So it's this ripple effect that's happening right now. Some states are even firing back. A group of 14 states filed a federal lawsuit in Washington alleging that Trump appointed Elon Musk illegally, giving him unchecked legal authority without authorization from Congress. But the firings continue. The letter to the probationary firees at the Small Business Administration said the agency finds that they're not fit for continued employment because their ability, knowledge, and skills do not fit current needs, and their performance has not been adequate to further justify employment with the agency. Letters to at least 160 recent hires at the Department of Education told them that their continued employment would not be in the public interest. And remember, guys, Trump is promising to close the Department of Education altogether. As the Office of Personnel Management explained it, the Trump administration is encouraging agencies to use the probationary period as it was intended, as a continuation of the job application process, not an entitlement for permanent employment. Plus, about 75,000 workers have signed up for the Trump buyout already. That's equal to 3% of the civilian workforce. In short, they're chipping away at Trump's task for Elon Musk and his team at Doge to undertake a massive downsizing of the 2.3 million strong civilian federal workforce. He's already sent Doge members into at least 16 government agencies where they've gained access to computer systems with sensitive personal and financial information, and they've sent workers home. Gavin Kligger, a top staffer at Doge, arrived at a new agency, the IRS, just recently. And this is pretty interesting because the agency has been a long-time target of Republicans who claim that the Biden administration weaponized the agency to target small businesses and middle-class Americans with unnecessary audits. So yeah, they are definitely getting the job done, guys. I just hope nobody innocent gets accidentally fired here. That's all. You know what I mean? Drop a quick comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Also, some suggested videos are going to be popping up in a second. Check those out. Appreciate y'all hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing and sharing the video. We'll see you next time.